मम्मा तुम्हें बाटी का क्या है? बाटी क्या? तुम कुछ कहोगे कि डूडू को? कहोगे? या है? बिस्कुट भी कहोगे? डूडू के नाम पे छूट कहोगे? क्या? डूडू के नाम पे छूट कहोगे? हाँ, पहले चुप कहोगे, चुप कहोगे। फिर डूडू कहोगे।
कभी वाह ಹಾಡುಗ
A very good evening, everyone. If you can hear me or see me, just give me thumbs up, please. Can I get started?
thumbs up la mana solra.
And I would request everyone to please keep yourself on mute.
Say phone mute la irukku.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, good evening. Okay, fine. So I'm audible and I'm visible. So that is very important in an online session.
ಕೆಟ್ಟಲ್ಲಡ ಅವನಿಗೆ.
So I would request everyone to please be on mute. We are all educators and we understand like how disturbing it gets when we start a session online and most of our students are speaking. I do want to mute everyone.
पूर्वा
क्या समझ में नहीं आ रहा है भाई तुम लोगों को? पढ़ने के लिए कहा जा रहा है, पढ़ने सकते हो?
ஒண்ணுல மட்டும் தான் நினைக்கணும், நீ ஒண்ணுல தான் நினைக்கணும், நம்ம ஒண்ணுல தான் நினைக்கணும். நில்லு டக்குனு புடி.
I'm requesting again, please mute
ரெண்டு காலி ஒண்ணே
yourself.
வச்சுக்க, அது ஆடவே மாட்டேங்குது. சரி ஆடு. இது வாடி. சரி ஜாக்கிரதை.
Okay, thank you so much. So in a minute, we would be starting as most of the participants have joined and as they keep coming, keep admitting them meanwhile. So yes, my name is Shivani Agarwal and today we are having this session on classroom management. It's not just about the word classroom management actually. The purpose is to create an environment in our classrooms so that we can ensure that our students reach their highest potential. That is what I would be trying to convey through this session. And I've been into education for the last 17 years and in the trainings for last 10 plus years. And I worked with many pan-India publications along with Khan Academy. I'm their master trainer. So today's session would be on how we can actually take up classroom management in its essence and create a very positive environment in our classrooms. I'll keep a little slow here because many people are still joining. So what is the agenda of the session? I have focused on three main things in this session. The session would be talking about definition of classroom management. Because we understand that classroom management is not just about the arrangement of chairs and tables in the classroom or just making students keep quiet in the classroom. That is not what classroom management is. So we would be focusing on what actually is classroom management, then goal of classroom management. Why is it necessary to talk about this particular topic, and that also in depth. And then the third part, and you can see I've highlighted the how part, because that is very important, not just understanding what is classroom management, why it is important. Ultimately, what we require that you should take away certain things, certain strategies which you can use in your classrooms. So that is why I have focused more on the how part. And then there would be lots of stories. If you are interested in listening to stories,
तो घुमा के
so
पिलाए वहाँ पे
there would be some stories
जंगल
for
में,
you as well.
और ये भी सोच रहे हैं
So
कि
let's
अभी
begin the
श्रीनगर भी
session.
जाना है.
But there are certain rules. We are educators and we know that we want our students to follow certain rules and
Excuse me,
there are
ma'am.
certain expectations. Yeah,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Many have not muted themselves, so the other sounds are disturbing.
Yes,
So
I'll have
kindly, if
to
you
mute. I just didn't want actually to mute everybody, but I think I'll have to
yeah,
mute. So okay,
yes,
just
ma'am.
give
Yes,
me a
ma'am.
second.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. I thought that people would mute themselves, but that is not the case. Just give me a second.
रवि क्या चाहिए बेटा? ग्लास चाय पिलाने के लिए आप पिला रहे हो?
Okay. I don't know whether all participants are muted now. Okay. So, okay, the rules for the session today would be, please keep yourself on mute. That was the first rule. Ironically, I had to mute everybody. And then camera is mandatory. Please turn on your cameras, and you know how it feels when your students keep their cameras off. And then you feel that you're speaking to a wall. Your energy does not get transferred. I think, see, when a speaker is speaking, it's very easy for me to speak, but it's very difficult for a listener to listen to what I'm speaking. So how would you be able to get through this 40 minutes or so when my energy would transfer to the listener? So I would request everybody, please come on the cameras. We are not going to have any examination here. We are just going to have a discussion on the classroom management, and you are all educators and you have been doing it for years. So, okay, next is please minimize your distractions, because I have really worked very hard on this session. I have curated certain strategies, certain principles, so that you can actually take those and do something about classroom management when you go back to your classes. So do raise your hands if you have any question, or put your questions in the chat box. I would be happy to answer. But I would request that we should keep our question answers towards the end, so that there are no distractions during the session. And please respond and interact. When I say please put something in the chat box or raise your hand, please do that. That would really help me keep the session going on. Otherwise, we all would be sleeping in 10 minutes. And I hope nobody wants that. So, okay, so what is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the term classroom management? When you saw there would be a session going to be on classroom management, what was the first thought that came to your mind? I would be sharing one link in the chat box. Please click on that and you would be able to put your answers there. I'm sharing the link in a second. Keep an eye on the chat box. It's a link of Mentimeter. When you click on that, it will take you to a site. You don't have to log in. It will be auto logged in. And now you would be able to see a question on your screen. If you're not able to see, that's okay. You can do not answer here, please. Do not answer here. Answer in the Mentimeter, the link which I have sent. Answer in the Mentimeter. Okay. So class discipline, optimize students' performance, students with discipline, interest, discipline, quiet yet interactive students, disciplinary issues, interactive, discipline, running class in a smooth manner, students with full energy, discipline. Okay, great. Great. So I'll wait for 10 more seconds because responses are coming. Okay. So mostly what I can see is it is 80% it is about discipline. Okay. So now let's come to the second question. Can you see the second question? If you could have a superpower to help with classroom management, what would it be? Okay. Instantly understand the emotions and needs of all your students. Create a duplicate to handle individual students while you teach. Effortlessly collect and grade all assignments on the spot, or flick your wrist and magnet draw all students' attention to the front of the class. So what is your take on this? Okay. Mostly instantly understand the emotions and needs of all your students. Definitely, even I would go with this, because it would be a very handy superpower. If I can understand what's going on in the minds of my students, I would be really, really, really happy to help them. And I could also guess what kind of mischievous activities they are up to in the coming minutes, so that I can at least be prepared for that. Okay, please put your answers in the Mentimeter. Okay, so I think we have enough responses. So 26 mostly says that they need a superpower where they can they can read the minds of their students. Okay, thank you. So, but I think that is not possible. So so what is possible? Let's do that. So what is possible is to understand what is classroom management and how to implement it effectively in our classrooms. So sometimes we feel that everything is under control, but you know otherwise. Okay, so mostly you said discipline, control, order. That was the the verdict, I can say. 80% said discipline, but I would be bursting the myth. Classroom management is not about discipline. It is not about discipline. In fact, it is not about just discipline. So that is one myth busted. So let's focus on what classroom management is. So this is a very beautiful quote and very, very potent, very powerful quote. It says, an effective teacher manages classroom and if ineffective teacher disciplines the classroom. So I'm not saying that we are ineffective or we are not good teachers or educators. We have been teaching students for, ever since we started our journey. But the purpose is not to just discipline the students. So what is it? So what is classroom management actually? So you would be saying, oh, it's been 5 minutes. He has been just talking about classroom management is not this, not that. So what actually it is? So understand in this whole definition, please focus on 4 words. With me, focus on 4 words. The first one is classroom management. Second one is set of strategies. Third one is effective learning environment. And the fourth one is promote positive students' behavior. So this is what we would be focusing today. We would be talking about what strategies we can use in our classrooms so that we can maintain effective learning environment and hence promote positive student behaviors in our classrooms. So if you want to take a screenshot, I will stop for a second and you can take a screenshot, but understand these 4 words are related: classroom management, set of strategies that a teacher creates and maintains in order to establish effective learning environment and promote positive students' behavior in classroom. So now, studies have shown that there is a very, very strong relationship between how a class is managed and what is the achievement of the students. So there are two main factors that really affect the students' learning, and those are classroom management and the teacher's behavior. These both are interconnected. So that reminds me a story of, it can be story of any teacher. So I would take up, although it is story of Miss Julie, but I would take up some names from here, those who have turned on their cameras. I would, with their permission, I would like to take their names. So Diana, I can see Diana. So is it okay if I can take your name in the story? Okay. So this is story of Miss Diana. So there was a study conducted in Oxford University some years ago. Maybe that was in early 90s. And they conducted a study on a group of students from underprivileged areas, where there were no facilities, economically background people, you can say slum areas. So what the study concluded, that there are very high chances that these students would indulge in crimes, they would land up in jails, and they would not be very productive part of the society. This was what the conclusion of that report was. After 4 years, there was another study conducted on the same set of students, although those children were not there in the slum at that time. Some were working, some were not there. But to the surprise of the people who conducted the study, they found out 90% of them were working in good positions. They were all educated, and they were highly productive citizens of the society. So that was really very surprising. So they thought, like, what actually happened, like how we could go wrong with the study. So they tried to find out what was the common thread, what was it that made them so successful in their lives. So they started going to the area, they started talking to the people and started asking them, okay, what is it that made them such good people in their lives, such they could do such so well in their lives. So what they found out, that there was one particular teacher, her name was Diana, and she was the common link between all the students. So they went to her. She was quite old. Now, Diana ma'am is not old. I'm sorry to say that. She's quite young. But yes, and she has a beautiful smile, I must say. But this particular Diana ma'am, she was a little older. And they went to her and asked her, okay, can I ask you this question? Like, what did you do with these students? How could these students turn out so well in life, although we predicted the failure? So she said, I didn't do anything. I just told them that I believed in them. I just told them that I trust in them. I know they can do something good in life. So that was all she told them. So the points which I raised earlier, classroom management plus teacher behavior, that is very, very important to understand. It is not just about arranging a tables or chairs or following some strict rules in the classroom. So next point is, what is the goal of an effective classroom management? So the goal is definitely to establish a conducive environment, an environment that is fit for learning, a positive environment, to minimize student misbehavior, because when we minimize student misbehavior, that time we can utilize in doing some productive activities. To maximize appropriate conduct in the classroom, to build connections, to maintain consistency, and create compassion in our classrooms. And apart from this, there are two major things I would like you to keep note of. One is the less time students spend on non-goal directed activities, the more time they can spend on something which is very productive. It can maintain the flow of activities in the classroom. It can maintain the flow of learning in the classroom. And also you can hold your students accountable if you are doing classroom management well. And second thing is, the less time they spend on useless activities, there would be less of problems in the classroom, less of behavior problem in the classroom. That is very, very clearly established. So yes, let's reflect a little bit on our current practices, which we currently do. And you being into teaching practices, you understand that it is very important. What should be the end goal of any training? Can you tell me what should be the end goal of any training? You have decided to join this training session today, and because we are all in that group and we keep on joining lots of other trainings. What is the purpose of training? Just put your answers in the chat box, please. What is the purpose of training? Any training, whenever we attend training, what is the purpose? To get empowered, updating skills, to learn something new, to incorporate the positive points in real life environment. Exactly, Archana ma'am, well done. So yes, to get more knowledge, to improve our skills. Yes, to improve our skills, definitely. But what would we do with those skills? What would we do with those skills? We would try to create something positive in the classrooms. We will try to take back something so that we can have improved classrooms, improved learning outcomes, and we can focus more on the learning and teaching part rather than disciplining the students, as most of you in the very beginning pointed out that it is about discipline. No, it is not just about discipline. So SWOT analysis is a reflection tool that can help you understand, as an educator, as a teacher, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities you can have? And what are the threats? Okay, I'll give you 1 minute. Okay, 1.5 minutes. See, you rightly said that the purpose of training is to upskill ourselves, to learn something new and take it back and do something productive with that knowledge. So unless until we understand why we just pointed out that discipline is classroom management, why could we not think of anything else? So I would request you to take up 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, draw maybe a table where you list your strengths as an educator, list your weaknesses and as an educator, opportunities you can have as an educator, and threats you face as an educator. I do have a sample with me, but I do not want to influence you with that. After 1.5 minutes, I'll show you the sample. But once I show you the sample, you would all be okay. You would all be thinking on the same lines. And that is not the purpose. Okay, your time starts now. Please start working on your SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And if you've done it, I would be happy to hear it from you. If anybody would like to share. Just send me in the chat box that yes, I have done my SWOT analysis. Unless until you do your SWOT analysis, I don't think so there would be any takeaways from this session. We must understand what are our strengths as an educator, what are my strengths as what are my weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats. I can again see the turning of the cameras. Okay, we have strength is good communication, teamwork. Strength is understanding. Okay. Threat, less time. Strength is managing less time. Work hard. Okay. Okay. Thank you for Pratibha ma'am, Pinky ma'am, and okay, Avika ji has shared strength or knowledge and training provided, communication skills, kids friendly, weakness. She has not written opportunity, real life application of resources, maybe out of syllabus kid behavior and communication barrier. Yeah, out of kids behavior. That is something very, I find it very funny. Yeah. Strength is positive attitude. Strength, positivity. Threat is time short at times. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So I'll share one sample. So that would be your homework. I will not be spending more time on this. That would be your homework to understand what are your strengths and weaknesses and opportunities. And one thing is strengths and weaknesses are internal. Opportunities and threats are external factors. Okay, strength is what is inherent, what is internal. Weakness is what is internal. Opportunity is what is external. External factor is providing you some opportunity. Threats, that is also external. Okay, this is a sample SWOT analysis. So strengths can be strong subject knowledge, engaging teaching style, passionate about student learning, excellent rapport with students. That can be your strengths. Weaknesses, limited experience with technology in the classroom, difficulty managing large class sizes, not as comfortable with individualized instruction. You can be good at providing instruction to the whole class, but not individualized or differentiated learning. Opportunities, professional development in technology integration. Yes, you can convert that weakness into opportunity. Collaboration with colleagues on differentiated instruction, parent involvement programs to support student learning. And the threats can be budget cuts impacting educational resources, standardized testing pressures limiting creativity, and teacher burnout due to workload. So this can be a sample SWOT analysis. I would request you to do this at home. Take it as a homework. So next is, there are three characteristics are essential to support teacher learning. One is teacher should have excellent classroom management skills. Teacher should be expert in the subject, or teacher has good instruction skills, and teacher has positive expectations of student success. That is what you have to transfer, just like our Diana ma'am transferred that to her students. So we are here to transfer that positive expectations to our students that yes, they can do it. So now I have focused on the 5 principles, and this framework, it is called a TEACH framework. I have created it to help you understand classroom management in a very simplistic way. But I have delved deeper into every aspect of it. I have talked about the what is the first principle, why it is important, and how you can incorporate in your classroom. So there are 5 frameworks, 5 principles. Then is first one is building trusting relationships in your classroom, engaging activities in your classroom, active routines, certain routines which should be followed no matter what, consistent expectations, and the fourth one is the holistic environment. So before I delve deeper into each of these, there is one common problem which I feel every teacher faces in the classroom, and that is the noise management. Do you feel that? If yes, then send me the reactions. And if you feel that noise management is the problem, send me the reactions. There is a react button on your screen. You can send reactions from that. That really helps. Yes. And this, I have joined from this free account of Zoom because I was advised not to use any other platform. So I have used Zoom. So this one is a free platform and the meeting would end in 40 minutes. I'm sending the link of the next meeting in the chat box. I don't even know whether we'll be able to have that session because nowadays Zoom has this limit of 40 minutes and then 9 minutes of waiting time, and then the second session can happen. But anyway, I'm sending you the link on the chat box. Please save that link so that later on, because I do not have any access to you all. I do not have access to your contacts or where I can send you the link. So I'm sending right now in the chat box. Please save it. And once the meeting ends, please join through this. Okay. Okay, I'll try doing that. Thank you so much, Raghuvinder sir. I'll just try doing that. So yes, everybody feels that noise management can be one tricky situation where a teacher feels sometimes totally helpless, like what to do, how to control, whether to teach them or whether to control them, whether to manage the noise. So before I delve into these 5 principles, I would give you certain strategies so that you can at least take back certain things. So I would be telling you certain fun ways to quieten your class. You don't have to shout, because once a teacher starts shouting and raising the voice, students understand that teacher has lost the power. They understand the teacher is now powerless. So never ever show to your students that you are powerless. So what can you do? So I call it call and response activities. But these activities are only would be helping you only if you set these rules in the very beginning of the session. Or maybe once these summer vacations are over, go back to your classroom on the very first day, set the rules of your class. Otherwise, these techniques will not work. So what are these techniques? The first one is, I call it 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, 1, 2, eyes on you. So how is it actually happening in the classroom? When you see your students making noise and not listening to you, rather than shouting, because you have already told them in the very first week of the starting of the classes that this would be a call and response game. I would say 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. And what would the students say? They would say 1, 2, eyes on you. So this is one way to take your attention back to what you are doing. I think some of the teachers also pointed out that they would like to have this kind of superpower where they can make students like use a wand and make all the students look at them and focus on them. Okay, that's nice, Madhu ma'am. I tell them hands up, hands down. Yes, that's okay, great. So next one is, you can do the Popeye way. So you have to tell them who was Popeye, and if they know, that is very nice. So are you ready, kids? This is your question. You would be asking them, are you ready, kids? So what should be their answer? A captain. So they can use some hand gestures. So that would be really create a fun atmosphere in the classroom. So next one is clap rhythm. So when sometimes they get bored with these 1, 2, 3 or Popeye way, so then you can use some clap rhythms. You can say 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So you are doing 1, 2, and the students would do 1, 2, 3. Or sometimes you can change the rhythm, but you have to make sure that all these routines are set before your classrooms start functioning. Then another one is focus, focus, time to focus. So you would say focus, focus, and your students would shout back, time to focus. And another, this one is very interesting. Sometimes you don't have to say anything. You can just put golgappas in your mouth, some imaginary golgappas, or maybe you can put some marshmallows or candies in your mouth, and you can move in your classroom. So once the students would look at you, because you have already established that golgappa in your mouth means when I do this, you all have to do this, and we would be quiet for a minute, and then we can focus back on our work. So this is golgappa in your mouth. And another surprising thing is singing a happy birthday song. Suppose your class is not even looking at you, and you don't know what to do. They are not even following any routine. So then you can start singing happy birthday to you. You can look at some child and say happy birthday to you. So they would all be surprised, and you would take them by surprise. Okay, what's happening? Whose birthday is it? The student would feel it's not my birthday. And you can keep their attention back to you. And this one works very nice for the younger kids. You can just stand there and say, oh, I lost my nose. Oh, I lost my smile. Have you seen my smile? Have you seen my smile? Have you seen my nose? Have you seen my ear? So they would really be very worried. Okay, what happened to our ma'am? And they would be looking at you. So now that is the purpose of all these fun ways to quieten your classroom. You don't have to shout, and shouting is the last thing a teacher should do in the classroom. Because I believe that when you shout, okay, Padmavati ma'am has raised hand. Okay, yes, ma'am, you can unmute yourself. Padmavati ma'am, would you like to say something, or was that by mistake that you raised hand? Okay, fine. So I think the meeting would end in a minute or so, then we can all join. If you have not received the link, I'll share it again. Please join using the link. And we have a lot more to cover. We will be talking about the 5 main principles. You can take a screenshot of this. People still joining. I've shared the link 2-3 times, so please join using that link. I'll be ending this meeting in a minute. So yes, how many of you have been following such routines, such fun routines where you don't have to shout, but you would yes, ma'am. See, if I do this with, suppose this is a offline class, I'm taking a teacher training session offline. I would do that in my teacher training session, and it really works. It doesn't matter which age group, everybody wants fun in the classroom. And a shouting teacher would never get that kind of attention. The attention span would be just out of what you can say, fear. But once you know how to get their attention without shouting, so they would all be cooperating. But the point is, you have to maintain, yeah, that is very nice, sir. I go with maths formula songs. You can share it towards the end, sir. We would really love to listen to that. So now I'm ending it, and I'll be starting the other meeting. So please join using that link.